The next item on the agenda is the Corporate Services Committee. Councillor Timms.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's not on the POA court issue. It's with regard to the committee minutes, and being that it is also the Human Resources Committee minutes.
Yes.
I did have a motion that we go in camera and get update on labor relations, and I understand we'll deal with that later in the meeting in camera.
Yes.
But relevant to that, and relevant to a couple of articles in the newspaper, I'd like to ask on the progress the region and AMO is having with the fixing of the arbitration system. We have constantly hearing, and I think this is fair ball to talk about because we're not the negotiating committee for the police board, and we're not the negotiating committee for the City of St. Catharines Fire Department. But we're hearing regularly how these settlements are coming because of fear or respect for the arbitration process. We hear in St. Catharines the firefighters got a one-year deal for 3%. Because the firefighters aren't allowed to strike, contract disputes are settled through binding arbitration. And arbitrators routinely award the same pay raises, Mr. Mellenbacher said. The city simply gave the firefighters matching raises because they are so fearful of what an arbitrator might do, or perhaps respectful. They are simply, and this is happening across the province, they're simply giving what they think an arbitrator might do because what an arbitrator did somewhere else. I see a similar article in the paper from the police contract talks last week, where Mr. Simone from the union talks about looking for a wage that is in line with other services our size. Instead, adding other services are getting raises between 2.55% and 3%. We're not looking for the highest in Ontario, but we want to keep what we have. Well, what they have, Mr. Chairman, while it's not the highest in Ontario, the current chart is it's only $600 less than Toronto Police Department. That's $83,000 something, and they're only $600 less than Toronto, and that is simply because of the arbitration process that focuses on comparisons. Now, our board chair said that, in effect, Councillor D'Angela, we came forward with a proposal that took into account and took into consideration the burden on St. Catharines taxpayers and the economic situation in the region. Though it seems this arbitration system is set up so that when we're bargaining on behalf of the taxpayer, we are more fearing the arbitrator than we are the actual negotiations. It appears that while we're fearing what the arbitrator might do, or we're fearing labor disruption, or we're fearing strikes, and perhaps the word is respecting, we're having no respect for the taxpayer. And it appears the police union has no respect for the taxpayer in asking this kind of raise, given what the scenario is in St. Catharines. So I'd like to hear what AMO is doing further on that. It seems to me that the union and the firefighters are in the same back. They're not respecting the situation of the taxpayer. I know we took a 2-year freeze on our salaries. We asked all of our senior staff to take a 2-year freeze. I know a great number of the public have lost jobs, lost pay, taken significant reductions. I'll tell you, I know we're not bargaining for the police board or for the city firefighters, but I'll tell you what I want, Mr. Simone. I want a 2-year freeze, 0 and 0. Respect the taxpayer. We can't spend our lives fearing the arbitrators. So, Mr. Chairman, what is our AMO doing? What is the Premier doing? He apparently fears the arbitrators as well, because he's not doing anything on the system. Is there any update?
First of all, put it over to Mr. Councillor Timms and Petrowski and Sharp.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do support the intention and I think the direction of Councillor Barrick's motion. And I respect the roles of who's accountable for what, but I think what this suggests that there's going to be significant added value to the CAO's process and your process in understanding how the various 31 councillors feel and respond to the various commissioners. Those are the kind of conversations that can be very random and are expected to be very confidential. And I think there is value added to both the CAO's assessment of commissioners and your assessment as well, to hear how the various councillors are feeling about the various commissioners and their role and their interaction. I think it's simply an added value. If you have to have the confidence in councillors about the confidentiality of the CAO's review, then you have to have the confidence in council's confidentiality on the commissioner's review. We have that responsibility on the number one top job. That has got to be the same confidential responsibility we have with the commissioners. So I think it will be helpful to the overall assessment, helpful to the councillors' feeling of being involved in the support or the role of the commissioners and guidance to the CAO. I think it's fair. I did serve as the chair of public health and for a number of years, and so I'm familiar with the process, and I think there's value added with Mr. Barrick's motion. So I'd support it. Thank you.
Thank you.